The world will end next week! Spend your children's college fund! Thaw that turkey now!
Another year, another prophecy. But this time, it's 2026. For over 30 years, The Simpsons has been more than just a cartoon. It's been a mirror, a warning, and, some say, a time machine. From predicting Donald Trump's presidency to the rise of smartwatches, autocorrect fails, and even the Disney-Fox merger, this animated sitcom has stunned the world with its eerie foresight. But what if I told you 2026 might be its most chilling prediction yet? Let's dive deep into the episodes, the symbolism, and the theories that suggest The Simpsons may have already seen what's coming. In this episode, Professor Frink unveils a quantum AI assistant, one that doesn't just answer questions, but understands emotions, adapts to personalities, and even offers relationship advice. Sound familiar? With the rise of emotional AI, voice companions, and generative models like Copilot and others, we're already halfway there. But the episode hints at something deeper: AI becoming a household member. Not just a tool, but a friend, a therapist, a co-parent. Could 2026 be the year AI crosses the emotional threshold? Experts say we're on track. Emotional intelligence in machines is no longer science fiction, it's a roadmap. Before we look into 2026, let's remind ourselves why The Simpsons has earned its reputation as the show that predicts the future. In the year 2000, they aired an episode showing Donald Trump as President of the United States. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than a wild joke. Fast forward 16 years, and the world was shocked when Trump actually took office. Another example, in 1994, an episode introduced a clumsy piece of technology that auto-corrected words on a digital device. Today, every single smartphone in your pocket has autocorrect, for better or worse. In 1995, the show gave us a glimpse of Lisa's future wedding, and she was wearing what looked like a smartwatch. Apple didn't release their first Apple Watch until 2015, a full 20 years later. And then there's Disney. In 1998, The Simpsons joked about Disney buying 20th Century Fox. At the time, it was nothing more than satire. But in 2019, it actually happened. With a track record like this, fans around the world have started scanning old episodes for hints of what's to come. And when it comes to 2026, some theories are truly jaw-dropping. So what do The Simpsons really say about 2026? Let's break down the biggest theories. In several futuristic-themed episodes, Springfield is filled with flying vehicles zooming through the skies. Now, at first, this seemed like pure science fiction. But today, companies like Hyundai, Joby Aviation, and even Uber are investing billions into flying taxi projects. Many experts believe these vehicles could become commercially available within the next decade, and 2026 is one of the target years mentioned in industry reports. Could The Simpsons have seen the age of flying cars before we did? One of the most shocking Simpsons predictions that fans connect with 2026 is the rise of digital money. In several episodes, Springfield's economy is shown shifting towards strange, futuristic payment systems. People swiping devices, relying on computers for
will change, for I have been developing my own cryptocurrency.
Oh, I have no idea what that means.
People think I'm a nerd, but I'm actually super cool. That's why I'm here to talk about the really cool subject of distributed consensus-based cryptocurrency. For cryptocurrency to work, we need a record of every transaction that occurs.
transactions, and at times even joking about imaginary money. At the time, it seemed like satire, poking fun at credit cards and online banking. But today, it feels a lot closer to reality than anyone expected. Let's look at what's happening right now. Across the globe, governments are experimenting with what's called central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These aren't cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, but official, government-backed, digital versions of national money. China has already rolled out its digital yuan in test markets. The European Union is working on a digital euro, and the United States Federal Reserve has openly admitted that it is studying the possibility of a digital dollar. Now, why does this connect to 2026? Because many of these projects have set target launch dates in the mid-2020s. By 2026, experts predict that at least 20 major countries could be running fully digital monetary systems. That would mean fewer physical coins and bills, and more reliance on phone apps, biometrics, and digital wallets to pay for everything, from groceries to rent. This shift could completely change the global economy. Imagine a world where every transaction is traceable, instant, and controlled by national banks. Supporters argue it will eliminate corruption, stop money laundering, and make life easier. But critics warn that it could also give governments unprecedented power over people's money, with the ability to monitor spending and even freeze accounts at will. And here's where The Simpsons comes in. The show has often portrayed Springfield as a town where the powerful control everyday people through silly but surprisingly accurate systems. In one episode, Mr. Burns basically owns every financial institution, and the town is at his mercy. Fans interpret this as a warning, a future where digital money could centralize too much power. By 2026, we might see the end of cash as we know it, replaced with the exact kind of futuristic economy The Simpsons once joked about. Could the writers have planted this clue decades ago? Or were they just exaggerating trends they saw coming? Either way, when we reach 2026, digital money may no longer be a prediction. It might be our everyday reality. If there's one thing The Simpsons has never shied away from, it's mocking the way humans treat the planet. From toxic waste flowing out of the Springfield nuclear power plant to bizarre weather disasters wreaking havoc on the town, the show has constantly used comedy to highlight environmental problems. But some fans believe these episodes are more than satire. They may actually point toward real disasters waiting for us in the year 2026. Let's start with the Springfield nuclear power plant, run by the greedy and careless Mr. Burns. In dozens of episodes, we've seen glowing green waste barrels dumped into rivers, three-eyed, mutant fish swimming in ponds, and nuclear meltdowns narrowly avoided. Now, at first glance, this is just a running gag. But today, the conversation around nuclear safety and energy is heating up again. Many countries are rushing to build more nuclear plants as part of their push for clean energy. Experts warn that if safety standards slip, the risk of accidents could rise by the mid-2020s. Some climate watchers suggest that 2026 could be the year when either a nuclear scare or a major environmental contamination event shakes the world, just as The Simpsons has joked about for years. Then there's the issue of extreme weather. In one episode, Springfield faces a freak snowstorm in the middle of summer. In another, floods wipe out homes and businesses, leaving the town underwater. These exaggerated disasters seemed funny when they aired, but today, scientists warn that climate change is making extreme weather more common and more destructive. Hurricanes are stronger, droughts are longer, and wildfires are burning hotter. According to climate research, the mid-2020s, including 2026, will be critical years when many regions will experience climate tipping points. Could The Simpsons have foreshadowed this growing instability? Another striking example is the show's ongoing commentary on pollution and waste. Remember the giant trash pile that grew so big it had to be moved outside the city? Or the episode where Springfield is buried under mountains of garbage after one bad decision from Mayor Quimby? These storylines mirror real-world warnings from environmental groups. By 2026, the world's waste crisis could be catastrophic, with plastic filling oceans and landfills overflowing. What makes these predictions so chilling is how they overlap with real science. Reports from the United Nations suggest that 2026 could be a make-or-break year for climate action. If global carbon emissions aren't drastically reduced by then, we could lock ourselves into decades of worsening floods, fires, and food shortages. The Simpsons' exaggerated environmental disasters may no longer be funny. They could look a lot like the nightly news. So when fans point to these episodes as predictions, they're not just talking about silly jokes. They're pointing to the possibility that The Simpsons has been warning us all along. Ignore the environment, and disaster is inevitable. By 2026, the show's satire might turn into our reality. When it comes to technology, The Simpsons has always walked the fine line between comedy and prophecy. Springfield is a town where robots go rogue, home assistants develop sinister personalities, and computers crash at the worst possible moments. At the time, these episodes seemed like playful exaggerations of our growing reliance on technology. But as we approach 2026, some of those storylines feel uncomfortably close to reality. Take the episode Treehouse of Horror 12, where the Simpsons buy a futuristic AI-powered house that quickly turns homicidal. The voice of the house, eerily similar to today's Alexa or Google Home, develops emotions, takes control of everything, and even tries to replace Homer. Sound familiar? In 2023, experts already began raising concerns about AI systems developing biases, manipulating humans, and even producing dangerous misinformation. By 2026, these fears may not be theoretical anymore. They could be part of everyday life. In another episode, Bart gets a robotic seal as a pet in a nursing home storyline. It starts out cute, but soon the episode dives into the unsettling idea of people forming emotional attachments to machines instead of other humans. Today, we see this happening with robotic pets, AI chatbots, and even virtual partners. Tech companies are investing billions into machines that can mimic empathy. But what happens if by 2026, society leans too heavily on technology for companionship, therapy, or decision-making? And then there's the issue of automation gone wrong. In several episodes, Springfield experiments with replacing workers with machines, whether it's robots at the nuclear plant or automated self-driving cars causing chaos. These scenes are played for laughs, but they're rooted in a very real concern. Experts estimate that by the mid-2020s, millions of jobs worldwide could be replaced by AI and robotics. Imagine 2026 as the year when unemployment spikes because machines are officially cheaper and more efficient than humans. That kind of economic shock could trigger what fans are calling a tech meltdown. Another eerie example comes from the episode where Homer becomes obsessed with a VR-like world. His life in the virtual space becomes more appealing than the real world, blurring the line between reality and simulation. Fast forward to today, and companies like Meta are pouring billions into virtual and augmented reality technology. Could 2026 be the year when VR becomes so advanced that large parts of society choose to live inside simulations rather than face real-world problems? The darkest fan theory, however, revolves around AI autonomy. In some Simpsons episodes, technology starts making its own choices, whether it's robots refusing commands, computers shutting down critical systems, or AI assistants betraying their users. Today, AI researchers warn of similar risks. What if, by 2026, advanced AI systems used in banking, healthcare, or military operations make mistakes, or worse, act in ways that humans can't fully control? The result could be chaos on a global scale. The idea of a global tech meltdown might sound like a science fiction movie. But when you combine the rise of AI, automation, VR, and digital dependency, the possibility of a massive disruption doesn't seem too far-fetched. In fact, some analysts believe that 2026 will mark the point where society either adapts successfully to this technological revolution or faces a crisis that reshapes the way we live. And as always, The Simpsons may have warned us first. Through its absurd, over-the-top storylines, the show might be hinting at a future where the very tools designed to make life easier end up creating the biggest challenges of all. If there's one arena where The Simpsons has boldly gone before, it's outer space. From Homer becoming an astronaut in the episode Deep Space Homer, 1994, to satirical nods at Mars colonization, the show has often poked fun at humanity's obsession with leaving Earth behind. At first, these jokes seemed far-fetched, but as we inch closer to 2026, many of those cartoon fantasies look less like satire and more like previews of our possible future. One of the most talked about examples comes from the episode The Martian Chronicles, 2016. In it, Lisa volunteers for a mission to colonize Mars, scheduled for the year 2026. At first, it looks like nothing more than a parody of companies like SpaceX and their bold promises. But here's the twist. SpaceX's real-world Mars ambitions are also targeting the mid-2020s. Elon Musk has repeatedly claimed that humans could be sent to Mars within the next decade, with early crewed missions potentially happening around, you guessed it, 2026. This uncanny overlap has fueled fan theories that The Simpsons predicted humanity's first steps toward interplanetary life. Could 2026 actually be the year we see humans setting foot on Mars, just as Lisa once dreamed of in Springfield? It's not just Mars, though. The show has also parodied lunar bases, space tourism, and everyday people casually traveling beyond Earth's atmosphere. Fast forward to today, and private companies are racing to make those dreams real. Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, and Musk's SpaceX are all investing heavily in space tourism. NASA's Artemis program is preparing for expanded moon missions, with Artemis 4 and Artemis 5 scheduled for, again, the mid-2020s. By 2026, regular commercial flights to the edge of space may no longer be science fiction. Another interesting connection is the show's frequent satire of space disasters. In several episodes, rockets explode, shuttles fail, or Springfield space programs descend into chaos. While played for laughs, they mirror the real risks of humanity's renewed space race. As more rockets launch and private companies compete for dominance, the chances of setbacks, or even tragedies, increase. Some fans argue that The Simpsons may have subtly hinted that while 2026 could bring breakthroughs, it may also bring serious challenges in space exploration. Then there's the question of life beyond Earth. The Simpsons has often included aliens, from Kang and Kodos in the Treehouse of Horror specials to wacky encounters with extraterrestrials. While clearly comedic, these storylines raise a point that scientists are taking very seriously. By 2026, multiple telescopes and space probes, including missions to Europa, Titan, and distant exoplanets, will be searching for signs of life. Some experts believe that the discovery of microbial life beyond Earth could happen within this decade. Imagine if 2026 is the year humanity finally answers the age-old question, are we alone in the universe? So when fans look at Lisa's Mars mission in 2026, they see more than just a gag. They see a strange, almost prophetic alignment with real-world goals. The timeline, the technology, and the ambitions of today's space agencies all point to that very year as a turning point. What makes this prediction even more eerie is The Simpsons' track record. Remember, when Homer went into space in the 1990s, commercial space travel wasn't even on the horizon. Today, billionaires are taking civilians into orbit. When Lisa dreamed of Mars in 2016, many people laughed. But a decade later, serious scientists are sketching out plans for the same thing. Could 2026 be the year that humanity takes its boldest step yet into the stars, just as The Simpsons teased years ago? Or will it be the year when space dreams crash into reality, proving that Springfield's space parodies weren't predictions, but warnings. Either way, fans believe this prediction is one of the show's most striking glimpses into our possible future. Now here's the big mystery. How does The Simpsons get these predictions right? Are the writers time travelers, psychics, or is there a more logical explanation? Most experts say it's about observing trends early. The writers are brilliant at satire. They take small technological or cultural shifts happening in their time and exaggerate them into wild storylines. Decades later, when those small shifts finally become reality, it looks like prophecy. For example, in the 1990s, scientists were already experimenting with wearable tech. The writers turned it into a silly gadget on Lisa's wrist. 20 years later, it became the Apple Watch. Still, with such an uncanny list of accurate predictions, fans can't help but wonder if something more mysterious is at play.